Here's a riddle. What can't your brain store? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt, and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory challenges, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a public school teacher for over 30 years, I've gotten into the habit of reminding my students to get a good night's sleep, to eat a good breakfast, and to come to school prepared. But back then, understand the importance to your brain. Here's the answer to that riddle. What can't your brain store? Water. Now, did you catch my last video? I made a video a few days ago, and it was about water, and it talked about the specific benefits of drinking water. So if you did not catch that, it's still on my YouTube channel, Keep Your Brain Sharp, and it's on my Facebook page, Keep Your Brain Sharp. So go ahead and take a look at it there. But today, I wanted to talk specifically about signs of dehydration and some tips for staying hydrated. Okay. Did you know what we are? We are water bags. Our body, our total body is about 60% water. We are full of water, and specific organs like our brain and our heart and our lungs and our muscles have even more. Like I said, our brain is like almost 75% water. Our muscles are 80% water, our heart, our lungs. Okay, so we are full of water. And just like a ball that you blow a ball up or a balloon up and inflate it with air, if the air starts seeping out or you start losing air, the ball does not bounce as good. It's not as efficient. It doesn't work as well. Same thing with us and our body and our brain. Our brain can't store water, and so if we're losing water, it's not going to work as well. Our job is to keep it hydrated, because you all know that we're always losing water. When we talk, when we breathe, when we sweat, when we urinate, okay, getting too much for you, and all these other body functions that we do, our cells use water. And so we're constantly losing water, and our brain cannot store it. So you need to be replenishing that water, especially for your brain. So staying hydrated will help you to think better, focus more clearly. You'll have less brain fog. You'll have better memory. You'll have better blood pressure. A lot of things will happen if you keep yourself hydrated, and your brain is definitely one area that needs to be hydrated, so that you know that if you're only 1% dehydrated in your brain, research is showing that you have a 5% decrease in your cognitive functioning. You lose 1% of the water, 5% decrease. If you lose 2% of the water, you will have short-term memory loss. That will start happening to you. You won't be able to remember things, but just 2%. You'll have 98% of the water in your brain that you need, but 2% less, you're going to start having some problems. And if you are chronically dehydrated, your brain actually gets smaller, and your brain cells shrink as well. So you don't want to be chronically hydrated for months and years on end, because it's going to be doing some damage to you. Okay, so there's a book that this doctor put out. I call him Dr. B because his name is this long name, and I can always flub my way through it. But it's called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. And his whole thing was that a lot of the ailments that we have are stemming from the fact that you are not drinking enough water. And when you reverse that and start drinking water, you can improve and even restore a lot of conditions. And so he was saying, you're not sick, before you get off in that tangent, try increasing your water intake, because you may just be thirsty. We are water bags. We need water. And here's my point behind that. Thirst. We need to stop thinking of thirst as a warning signal that we need some water. We need to think of it as proof that we are not well. When you're thirsty, your body is already into a dehydration mode. That's why the flashes are going out. That's why it's signaling you, Houston, we have a problem because things are not working as efficiently. And if you don't get some water in here, it's going to go from bad to worse. Okay. So it's not say you better hurry up or else you will dehydrate. It's saying we have a problem here and it needs to get corrected quick because we're going downhill. It is proof. So when you are thirsty, if you can get that in your head, if I'm thirsty, my brain is no longer well. It is no longer well. And if I want it to get well again, I need to get some water and keep it there. So your goal should be not to ever be thirsty. Your goal should be to keep yourself continually hydrated so you don't feel thirsty, because that means you're not well. Just like when you have a fever. When you have a fever, that doesn't mean you're going to get sick. Duh, you're already sick. And the fever is just a sign that you're already sick, not that you're going to get sick. Thirst is a sign that you are already unwell. Your brain is already in an unhealthy state that needs to be corrected. Okay, let me get off that because you can tell I could be on that for a while. So basically, you're going to want to nip it in the bud so that you won't have it further progress into headaches and to blood pressure issues and to irritability and to mood swings and to all these other things, brain fog, memory loss, loss of focus, all these other things that can come from that as it gets worse and worse and worse. Okay. All right. Now they say for younger people, the dehydration is, in your brain is mainly focusing on your energy and your mood when you're in your youth. But as you get on in age, the dehydration flips to cognitive performance. Okay. And you know that we're all getting on in years, and there's some things that go with that you need to be aware of. Number one, your sensitivity to thirst. The thirst signal weakens as you get older, as you get on in age. You're not able to recognize thirsty. So you're not able to recognize that your body is not well, that you need to make some correction. So you need to already be in a habit of drinking a lot of water and drinking water throughout the day. I don't like to say drinking a lot of water because people start guzzling it down. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about drinking it continuously through the day, regularly through the day. You need to get that habit developed before you get elderly or age, because your thirst signal is not going to be as strong. Number two, as you increase in age, your muscle tone, gets more lax. You lose more muscle. The muscle tissue is a great storage tissue for water. They say your muscles are 80%, just about 80% water. So if you're losing muscle, you're losing that capability to store water in some part of your body. It's not going to get stored in your brain. So it has to get stored somewhere. So you want to keep that muscle tone up. It's another reason for exercising, for strength training and all of that. And also as you age, you have a tendency to have more fat tissue. And unfortunately, fat tissue is not a great storage of water. They say only 10% of your fat can actually store water. So it's not a great reservoir for water. So as you age, you have to take those things in effect, which is why if you develop a habit of drinking water, it's going to do you well as you age. If you haven't developed that habit, it's never too late to start. Get on it, and it'll do you well as you age. Okay. Studies show that there is up to 40% of elderly are chronically dehydrated, and if you're 71 years of age or older, that percentage goes up to more than 80%. So if you have loved ones, elderly, if you're elderly yourself or have loved ones that are elderly, it is very important that you monitor and make sure they're monitoring their water intake. 80%. And they were talking about in men, it was like 90 something percent. Women, it was like 83. Men, it was like 90 something. If they're over 71, that's almost all of them. So it's really important that you get them on that track of drinking the water, because their cognitive performance is affected through the dehydration. Okay. All right. I'll get off that. All right. So you want to know some tips? Well, before I say that, let me say that, I heard one person say one time if there was only one health thing that they could do, they chose, this is one of the experts, they would choose to drink enough water, to drink a sufficient amount of water on a regular basis. If they only could do one health thing, it's that important to your brain. Okay, so on with the tips. Okay, so there are some tips for staying hydrated. One easy thing you can get in the habit doing is, of course, when you wake up in the morning, to have a glass of water. Okay, raise up in the morning, make that a habit, just like brushing your teeth or whatever. Make it a habit. When you get up, you drink some water. All right. Another thing is when you exercise, before you some water, and sip water throughout your exercise, during your exercise as well, because you are going to be expending, sweating, perspiring. You're going to be losing water. Okay, you want to get that in there. All right. Another thing that you can do is to swap out those sweetened beverages, those sweet drinks, and especially alcohol. Swap that all out for water. Make water your drink of choice. All right. The other thing you want to do is you want to start sipping throughout your day. We talked a little bit about that before. I don't want the gulping down the whole bottle of water in 5 minutes kind of thing. But you make a habit, develop a habit that every 20 minutes or so, you're going to take a sip of water. You're going to do that throughout your day. The other thing is, like I said, 30 minutes before you eat, 30 minutes after you eat. Drink some water. While you're eating, they don't really recommend drinking a lot of water, although I know at restaurants that they keep on throwing water at you, but that's not good for your digestive system. Your acids in your stomach get diluted when you're down on all that water, especially if it's ice water, but any water, it's diluting that stuff, and you want your digestive system being efficient, so you don't want to drink a lot of water while you're eating. 30 minutes before your meal and 30 minutes after your meal, you can start back up with drinking your water. So those are some tips. Did I get everything? Oh, eat your water. Almost forgot. Eat your water. Fruits and vegetables. Yeah. There's a lot of water-rich fruits and vegetables. 'Tis the season because there's a lot of good, make it a point to take advantage and eat those water-rich fruits and vegetables. Okay. So if you need a substitute for those sweet beverages, if you can't get off that stuff, try flavored water. Now, I don't mean the one at the store, because when you start buying that store stuff, you get into all those processed, all that other artificial whatever stuff you don't need to have, but you can make it yourself. It is not hard. It's easy to flavor your own water. They call it infused water, okay, if you will. And if you want some easy recipes, I got you, because I got some recipes for flavored water in my resource library that's on my website. So you can go to keepyourbrainsharp.com and you can find some recipes for flavored water, and you can take advantage of that, especially in all this heat, because your brain's destiny is in your hands.